Welcome to Couch Conversations, the space where real talk meets God talk.
We're two best friends who love Jesus, deep convos, and a whole lot of laughs.
From relationships and faith to the messy middle of adulting, we're chatting about it all right here on the couch.
So grab your snacks, get cozy, and let's get into it. This is Couch Conversations.
What's up, cousins, and welcome back to another episode of Couch Conversations. We're your favorite cousins, Deja
And Kelsey.
and we're so happy to have you back with us on the couch again today.
Yes.
So today's episode, and I know we always say it, that it's something that everybody can relate to, but that's the purpose of our podcast is to be relatable. But it's something that all of us have experienced, whether you have been on the receiving end or the giving end. And it's that F word. And not the F word you're thinking, but the big F word of forgiveness.
Yeah, a big one.
A big one.
A very big one.
Like the big worm on SpongeBob?
Yes,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
Forgiveness. That is often a topic that is very hard to, I don't know, it's very hard to navigate through forgiveness, especially when you're trying to forgive someone after being hurt, or you're seeking forgiveness from someone after you're doing the hurting. So
Right.
it's such a broad topic, and with that, we can go ahead and say that this is definitely going to be a two-parter. Okay, so to start off, how do you personally define forgiveness?
How do I define forgiveness? So I would say, to me, forgiveness looks like, my mama always told me don't use a word to define the word, but essentially it is forgiving. So it's, how can I say this without still using the word again? So it's like, I don't want to say accepting, because you don't necessarily have to accept the behavior or whatever was done, but it's taking whatever was done, evaluating it, and accepting the apology, even if there wasn't a formal apology,
Right.
and moving on from the situation, moving forward,
Move forward.
regardless of how that may look like. That's how I would personally define forgiveness.
Yeah, that's essentially how I kind of define it as well, is looking at a situation, and I say part of it is accountability plays a role somewhere in that equation, and just finding, like you said, a way to move forward. Not necessarily, I mean, I guess part of it is moving on, but how can you navigate your new normal? Because like I feel like with situations like that, like I said earlier, it comes from hurt. So when I feel like when someone does something to you, it kind of changes the dynamics of things. And so with forgiveness, it's you figuring out how you can take that hurt and learn from it, as far as, say, you're the person who received the hurt, and you learning like how to handle this person now, and on the other end, you being the person who did the hurting, you learn what not to do and how you can change your actions, and y'all both coming together to find a way to move forward. So that's my definition in so many words.
No, that's good though, and something I kind of want to touch on what you said. So accountability. So that's one thing. Like, accountability is huge, regardless what the relationship may be. So it may be a romantic relationship, it may be platonic.
Right.
Because forgiveness is for the entire
Everybody.
spectrum.
Right.
But when you said, like, if you're the one receiving the hurt, and learning how to adjust to the new norm,
Right.
but let's also think about when you are no longer connected with that person. Let's say you're going to make connections with other people, and how that hurt can show up or potentially show up in those new connections.
Right.
So I think that's also something to consider when we're talking about forgiveness, and we will kind of get into that later on in the conversation. So, with that, what do you think people often misunderstand about forgiveness?
I think one of the biggest misunderstanding about forgiveness is that it makes you weak. I think a lot of people pride comes into play when it comes to whether or not you want to forgive somebody, because of course, like when somebody like hurts you or do you wrong, it's like, oh, you played in my face. Like it's hard to get over certain things, especially when it comes from certain people. Like,
right, yeah.
And with that, like with the misunderstanding, I feel like it can kind of be different for different people. Like, say it's a person that it may be easier for me to forgive you as my best friend because I know that you never do anything to intentionally cause me harm or hurt my feelings.
Right.
But if it's someone that I may not be as close to or have already had, like, I don't want to say ill feelings, but we haven't been getting along, like we don't like each other. There's nobody I don't know, but we don't like each other. So it's easier for me to like want to hold on to that grudge and like I'm not gonna forgive you. Like I need you to stand on like what you did because it's just like you hurt me,
right.
You hurt me, or they feel like if you forgive someone, you just let them get away with what they did. That's the big misunderstanding. That is something that I personally have struggled with, and something that has been toying with me the last like couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I was actually going to say something similar to what you just said about, I think what people often misunderstand about forgiveness is that it's you accepting the behavior and being okay with it.
Right.
Just because I'm forgiving you and for whatever you may have done, that doesn't mean I'm accepting of it.
Right.
That doesn't mean like I'm okay and I'm just like, hey, you can go do that again. It's fine with me. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I acknowledge what you did. I'm acknowledging how it made me feel. And I'm forgiving you for what you did in hopes of you changing and taking accountability.
Right.
And actually listening and understanding how it may have affected me, how it may have affected this connection, this relationship, this partnership, this friendship, whatever the case may be. That's what I'm hoping you understand.
Right.
And that you understand I'm not just saying, hey, you can go, I don't know, go talk about me behind my back again.
Right.
And I find out.
Like this is your past to do whatever. Like you can keep doing it and I'm just going to say, okay, I forgive you.
Right. This is not collect your $200 pass go.
Right.
No, this is your this is go straight to jail.
Straight.
Don't pass go straight to jail.
Right over there.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the misunderstanding when it comes to forgiveness. And also that, and this is also something else we'll talk about later on, but just because I forgive you doesn't also mean I'm gonna forget.
Right.
Because I feel like once something happens, it's stuck in your head forever. It may not be at the forefront. It's gonna always be in the back of your mind, because now I may also start looking at you different. Because now I'm gonna be like, there's this possibility that they may do this again.
Because they show me that they could.
That they have the capability of doing it. And that's not to say they will, but there's always that ideal in my head that you may do it again. I hope you don't.
Right.
But you just may show me who you really are and do it again.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So do you think forgiveness is more for the forgiver or the forgiven?
So part of me says it's both. And then the other part says it's just for the forgiver. And here's my reason about why. So as far as being both, it's because for one, I want to show it ain't no hard feelings.
Right.
I see how you move. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a note of it. I'm like, noted. I
Noted.
got you. I
Right.
see you. I see you, big dog. I got you.
Right.
And then it's not me necessarily holding a grudge, because I'm not the type to really hold a grudge like that. But and it's also for me to show them, like, I want you to see how you treated me,
right,
how it's affected me, and how, like I said previously, it's going to affect us in the long run. And now we got to figure out how we gonna move. How are we going to move on from this, and how are we going to, if it's not something that was very detrimental to what the relationship may have been, how are we going to ensure this doesn't happen again? And how do we ensure that it doesn't affect us, whether that's minor or major? And how do we address it?
Right.
How do we think of solutions? And we may not come to an agreement on a solution, but at least we tried and maybe got some type of middle ground.
Right.
Now, as far as forgiveness being more for the forgiver, it's for me to accept or to know that is a reflection of that person's character.
Right.
It's not necessarily a reflection of me. And that's something I had to really work on.
Yeah.
Especially in romantic relationships, because I would think, and it could have been me. It could have been me, but just thinking about those situations, I just thought about the way that the things that they're saying and the way they're projecting is a reflection of their character, not necessarily me.
Right.
It's a reflection of maybe what they're going through. Maybe it's a reflection of their lack thereof.
Exactly.
Maybe they're lacking something that I have, and maybe they're jealous. That's another reflection.
Okay.
And maybe it's just their ignorance. So it's more so for me to see how their true colors, accepting them for who they are, and allowing myself that closure to move on from the situation, because we don't do ourselves justice when we continue to just focus on that situation, try to nitpick and dig for every little thing. And sometimes what we're digging for isn't there. It's plain as plain as day. So that part as well.
For me, I think I was going back and forth between the two. I think it's more so for the forgiver. And I say that because sometimes, and again, it could depend on the person.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes people do things, and it goes back to what we said earlier, and don't hold themselves accountable for what they did. So it's like and I feel like this is something we're going to talk about, later on, but it's like we could be looking for apologies for someone, and we may not get it, or if we get it, it's just them doing it just to say that they did it. And sometimes you can read it and see like if they're truly genuine of what they are saying. And so I feel like it's more so for the forgiver, because it's just you going through that process for yourself of how you can move forward from it, because it's like it ain't gonna do nothing to the other person. It's not gonna affect them in any way, unless like it's somebody who's truly close to you, who really had no intentions of hurting you. Like, say, I don't know, we're in the midst of conversation, and I know sometimes I can be very blunt, and some things that I may say may come off like harder than what I wanted to. And that's like for anybody that I'm close to. And me realizing like, oh shit, like you somebody that I love. I don't want you to think like I'm coming at you in a way that I'm wanting to hurt you. So me coming to you as a one who's seeking forgiveness, yes, in that instance, I would say it's definitely for both. But everybody isn't like that. So that's why I guess it would depend on the relationship, the accountability of it all, and just the dynamics of the person. Because I've seen a lot of times where people would say, like, I'm sorry, and you're really not sorry because you go back as soon as you get the opportunity to do the same thing over again. Or how you saying sorry is just like, let me just so you can shut up. Like, it's no genuine in it, because it's just, at the end of the day, me supposed to be the forgiver. I'm gonna look at you like, oh, you really don't care. You just want me to shut up. You don't care, like, how your actions impacted me and how you made me feel. So I don't know. It can go both ways.
Right. And I agreed when you said it depends on the dynamics of it. And something that I will also raise is that when they're not intentional with their apology, is it really up to us to forgive? Do we have to forgive? Like, do I have to forgive you for what you did to me?
The short answer is no. You don't have to. Like, we have the free will. Like, somebody can apologize to me, and I'm gonna be like, you can take you in that apology, you can shove it where the sun don't shine. But it's like, then you have to think, is it something? Because I feel like forgiveness, in a way, is a sense of closure for a situation. And when you don't do it, it just it leaves the door cracked for you to start overthinking the situation, start wondering, like, well, why would they do this to me? Like, why this, that, and the third? Or maybe you just don't care. I don't know. It depends on the person. But no, nobody ever has to accept an apology, and that's okay. And that's another thing that people have to realize. Like, when you do something to hurt somebody and you apologize, you have to be prepared for them not to accept your apology. And you cannot get mad at them if they don't, because that's their prerogative. That's their perspective. You cannot tell anybody how to react to what you've done to them. Now, the caveat to that is, because we talk about faith a lot, and we never steering away from that. If we're talking about it, like, as a person of faith, speaking to our faith people, you may not, well, you could, but as a person of faith, it's like, according to God, we have to forgive them. And it was like a video that I saw like last week. When I tell you, listen, this conversation is so good, because when I tell you, this is something that I've been struggling with recently, and I talked to my fiance about it too. I was so upset at a person that it made me physically, like, I don't want to say ill, but it just, how you get so upset that you feel it all through your body. Like,
it's like
everything.
Like they say your blood was boiling or whatever.
Literally, like, blood boiling, like, head hurt, uneasy. Like, it's been so long since I've been in that space. And me, it was like, it's up. But then I saw a video on TikTok. And it seemed like TikTok always posts things that you need to see in the moment. And it was basically, this man was talking about, basically, I don't want to say experience heaven, but he kind of experienced what Judgment Day was. Like, he was talking to God, and it was like, don't make no vows to God if you ain't ready for him to show you, like, what you asking for. And so basically, he went to sleep, and he, how you have an out of body experience. So he was like, he could see himself like sleeping, but he got ascended to heaven. And I know everybody don't believe stuff like this, but I believe in dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was like, it was like a space where it was just like, I can't remember the color he said, but it was like nothing there, but it was like a long line of people. And it basically was like judgment day or whatnot, where you didn't see God, but you heard him. And he was like, he saw people and they had seeds in their chest. And so he was wondering, like, what is that? So he would hear God like saying, depart from me. And then it was like another space where like like people would like scream like it's sucking them in or whatnot. So he like, what the hell? Literally, he was like, what the hell, you need to depart from me. And so you can see like it was like a screen where you could see, like, you couldn't lie to God, like, because everything you did and everything he judging you on is right there. So it's like you couldn't lie about it. You couldn't be like, well, that wasn't me, and I'm like, well, who this? Ain't that you? Ain't that you?
Right.
So he got scared because everybody was going, I guess, to him, and he was like, oh, what is that? So it was his turn, and so he was like, oh Lord, please. He was like, please don't send me down here. And so he was like, basically God was like, why didn't you forgive her? And it showed who the person was. And he was like, what you mean, God? I forgave her. Like, we had a conversation. I forgave her. Like, we moved on. And he was like, well, what is that? And it was this seeds that it was so embedded in them. Instead of like forgiving, it was still there. Like you forgave, but you were still holding on to those things. Like you still remembering and stuff like that. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm not. And he was like, basically, he was like, God didn't say, well done, my good and faithful servant. He basically was like, you barely made it in by the skin of your teeth because of those seeds of unforgiveness. And basically, he was like, when you forgive a person, you should be able to go and have a conversation with them without the situation ever coming up, without you looking at them and you thinking about the hurt that they did to you. Because if you can't do that, then those seeds are still embedded in you and you haven't forgiven them. You haven't forgiven him how Christ forgave us, because God forgave us despite people beating on him, spitting on him, tearing him up, us still doing whatever before we even became a creation like us, he still took it on and forgave us and still constantly forgive us for everything that we do. So who are we as people to not be able to forgive what somebody's done to you when God has constantly forgiven us of all of our mothers? And I saw that and I was like, really, God?
Like, what you telling me?
What you telling me? I'm like, in my head, like, that's something I battle with. Like, me, I feel like my relationship has gotten close to God where I can really, like, talk to him, like, bro, like, what you mean? Like, you didn't see what this person did, but I'm supposed to forgive them even when they are okay with what they did. They don't have any remorse for it. Like, they are, like, they don't see any issue with it. They don't take any accountability for it. But I'm supposed to forgive them and literally forget. And so that goes back to what we said about forgiving but not forgetting. That is something I'm a struggle with, because it's like, so when he said that, I was like, dang, because he's like, literally, when we go to God and ask him for forgiveness and repent for it, he wipe it clean. Like, he don't say, I forgive you, but I'm gonna still keep my eye on you for doing that. And I said, well, I'll be a monkey. Because what am I supposed to do? What? My daddy came out just now.
Your monkey's what?
Oh, monkey's uncle. That's so country, ain't it? My daddy be saying, My daddy be saying that, whatever that means, but yeah, I was like, Abby, so you're telling me I'm supposed to forgive this person? All these people who have hurt me and done unprovoked. I'm supposed to be like, okay, that is so hard. That's why, like, when people talk about like the faith walk, they don't realize like it ain't easy because you really have to be outside of yourself and do things that your flesh is not up for. My flesh and my spirit been battling. Okay, when I say battling, listen, I'm like, Lord, I don't want you to tell me I made it by the skin of my teeth because I'm still with this person. But good googly moogly, this is tough.
I have thoughts.
That was me. That was me. Like,
Because for one, that was a very like good like message.
mm-hmm.
But
Imagine my surprise. It was that day. I'm like, bro, I was heated. And I tell you, baby, and nobody could tell me nothing. I was on 1,000 and was not coming down, not even to 999.
So my thought, and again, faith walk, and people have to realize like your faith walk is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a linear path where it's just smooth, freshly paved sidewalk or anything like that. There's going to be cracks, there's going to be bumps, there's going to be pieces missing. It's going to be a little,
you might stumble,
a little curvy, a little zigzag. You might have some heels. You might got go underground and come back up.
be in the trenches,
and you might have to walk backwards and turn back around and try again. But so we got half of it right. We got the forgiving part right. But you're also telling me I have to forget. It is not the fact of trying to hold a grudge. It's just the fact of me knowing, like, this is how you are.
This is how you are. And this is what you did. I've seen it.
Right.
What you did. But I'm supposed to act like
it never happened.
Never
doesn't exist.
How am I supposed to do that?
And
how am I supposed to go sit down with you and have, hey, how you doing?
It already took me enough to forgive you, to build up the energy, the thoughts,
the process to forgive you,
and actually want to forgive you. Mm-hmm. But now I have to use some more energy to forget it. So, what if I have forgiven you, but we're not on talking, whatever terms?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still expecting of me to go sit down with you and still have a face-to-face conversation?
And that's the question I had, because it's like, I'm not going to force the interaction or go find you, but I guess like further, like him talking about it, it's more so of like, no, you don't have to go find that person, but if you go run into them in Walmart or something,
I'm going the other way. I might, if I see you out in the parking lot, I might just keep driving. I might just in my car until you come back out.
Or I might just go about my business and walk and act like I can't see you.
Right. But you want me to walk up to you and be like, hi.
Or you pass by like, hey, how you doing?
I want you to know that I forgive you. And I'm forgetting it. Like, how?
Is it pride?
But it also makes me think, so let's say I've forgiven a person, and to me, I feel like I've forgotten the situation.
Right.
What if I'm triggered by something and I think back? Not saying it's with the same person necessarily, but let's say I'm triggered by
just a
situation that may have happened with that person. Is that saying I haven't really forgotten the situation?
Listen, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out a week and a half later.
Because that has happened. Like, I've forgiven you, and more than likely I may have just forgotten about the situation.
Right.
But if I'm being triggered by something that was similar,
if it happens
to
again,
that, right. Yeah.
Right.
I have so many questions.
I gotta talk to Jesus.
I need God to come sit right here.
Sit on the.
Yeah, but yeah.
Gotta be careful.
Just sit and talk with us.
Talk.
That's all I want to do is have a conversation.
Need some clarification of
have
what you.
Talk with Jesus.
Tell them all about. Because listen, that thing I literally, Kelsey, when I saw that video, it took me, and it seemed like every video was talking about forgiveness, and I'm like, oh, this demon must be on me heavy. Because being transparent, I ain't wanted to hear nothing about no Jesus, no turning the other cheek. No, I wanted.
I want you to feel it.
I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it. When you hear me, but listen, I want you to feel it. And you know me. When I get like that, I mean what I say and say what I mean and feel what I feel. And that feeling right there, it was so bad.
And
no take backsies. DeAndre was like, please just calm down. He was like, it's okay. I'm like, but no. So when I kept seeing this, I'm like, we always say God speak to you in different ways. And I'm like, maybe it was so bad that I literally had to pray to God and be like, God, please remove this anger, these feelings from me, because I know it's not of you. I know it's not like you. And I know it's going to set me back to where I'm not trying to go back to.
Yeah.
And I just had to keep asking him. And then it was this song that kept coming to my mind. It's called Emotions by LaShawn Pace. It's basically, she says, all my emotions, I give them to you. My feelings of hatred, bitterness, unforgiveness, revengefulness, all of that. That song just popped in my head, and I kept singing it. And I had to turn it on, and I was like, whew. It basically was like, I give it to you. I know it's not like you guys, so I'm giving it to you because I can't release them myself because I'm trying and it ain't working. It ain't working. Whew. Listen. That's why I said this episode right here was personal. It was personal. And it's a struggle because, again, I have these same questions as you. I'm supposed to just act like it didn't happen.
Right.
And I think about, like, all the things that people have done to me. And it's like you said, I have forgiven you. I don't hold any animosity towards you. I don't hold any ill feelings towards you, but it's noted. Like, I know what to expect. Like, from now on, it won't be a surprise for me because I know how you are. But, like, seeing that, I'm like, how? And maybe that's something I need to study more in the Bible and look up and study that because I'm struggling.
It's like I'm just processing it because, like you said, taking the time to forgive them taking the time to go through the emotions and all that, and I'm really speechless
for
because like
words.
I'm flabbergasted.
Mm-hmm. The flabbergastic, yeah. Mm-hmm. Join the party.
Because I have to forget. Like, So that actually kind of goes into our next question of, is forgiveness a choice, process, or both?
Both. Both. It goes back to your question of, do I have to forgive somebody, apologize? So forgiveness is a choice. You have the choice of whether you accept or not, and that's if they give apology or not, if you choose to forgive them. But it's also a process. It's not something, as much as it has to be genuine for someone to come to you as an apology, it has to be genuine for you to give the forgiveness. You can't just say, I forgive you, and then you bring it up all the time. It has to be like, you have to go through that process of, one, feeling your emotions, your sadness, your anger, your feelings of betrayal, whatever the situation is that happened, feel all of that. Then you have to figure out, okay, not a us move forward. What can I do to truly move forward from it, and to truly ease my hurt, ease my pain, or whatever feelings that I'm feeling. Then what can I tell you to do to help me forgive you? What is it that I can do? And then the other thing is being intentional with your forgiveness. It's just like, you're not just saying the words again. You have to really be intentional of of just how you move forward. Because again, a lot of people from both sides, like, just say I forgive you or just say I'm sorry. But on the I forgive you side, you can't say I forgive you and then every opportunity you get, you breaking up. Well, you did this, that, and the third. You did this, that, and the third. Like, or I apologize, but then I'm going to do it again every chance that I get. So it's both. It's definitely both. And yeah.
I would definitely agree that it's both a choice and a process, and also understanding that, and now that I just think about this, maybe conflicting with the story you just shared, but understanding that there isn't a timeline for forgiveness,
Right.
Because the situation could have happened 7 months ago, and I'm just now getting to the point after I've processed my feelings and what has happened. Maybe I'm just not at that point to where I can really say I forgive you,
Right.
for XYZ. And now I'm able to fully see closure because I've taken the time to do all the work to process everything and process how I would like to move forward, whether that's with you or without you, but just moving forward in general.
Right.
Because we've both been in situations where we've had to do that, and specifically previous situationships, whatever, where what they did really truly hurt us, because at times I was combining words at that time, and let me emphasize, at that time when we had feelings for these people, at that time,
not present.
Because
I could give tissue. Sorry.
Because at that time, and we've talked about these people before on prior episodes, but I don't want to say at that time again. But
just to clarify, at
that time, if you didn't hear some first times, we really had feelings for these people, but they showed us otherwise how they really felt, and it hurt both of us like a lot.
Yeah,
and it took us a while for both of our situations to verbally come out and say, I forgive you for XYZ, blah, blah, blah. I wish you well.
Right.
And to leave it at that.
That's hard for me.
That was a process. Because as overthinkers, we're always questioning, well, what did I do? What went wrong? What could I have done differently? Was it me? Did I do something? All these questions.
Or how did I allow this to happen?
Right. All these questions when it may not have been us.
Right.
Nothing it goes back to what I said earlier about it could have been a character thing on their side.
Yeah.
And that's another part of the process. Accepting that it may not have been us. And actually realizing that, and that can take a long time to realize,
right?
As someone who feels deeply and who overthinks 85% everything, not too much, but that's a process within itself,
right?
Because after we realize that, and that's not easy to do at all. It's not easy. It's really not easy.
No.
But once you get past that hurdle, now you have to evaluate everything else. And now you can actually start formulating the forgiveness conversation and then actually seeking closure. If you're looking for closure,
right?
I guess closure could also be forgetting the situation too. But in our case, it's closure, actually closing that chapter and actually
putting
that
book on the library shelf.
Yes. Might actually throw it away.
Okay. Burn it.
Yes. But to go back to the question, it's both, because like you said, with the choice, I have to decide if I really want to forgive you.
Right.
And going back to the other questions, and more so for the forgiven or the forgiver. So that's why it's also a choice, because maybe I'm considering that you have issues. So you definitely need some forgiveness, because it may be something that you haven't 100% accepted yet, or realized that you have. So let me forgive you, because maybe that's not, I don't know, I'm gonna just say it's not something you're used to or whatever. But it's still my choice to forgive you and forget.
Right. And sometimes though, with forgiving that person and showing them that you can forgive them, maybe that will shine a light for them and be the first step for them to become a better person, especially those with that better flaw. So that just made me think, because the wheels be turning at but it's like, maybe going back to the question of, is it for the forgiver or the forgiven? Sometimes maybe we are that person's assignment of us forgiving them and showing like, dang, like no matter what I did to this person,
they forgave me.
And I did the lowest of the low for them, but they still found it in their hearts to forgive me. So maybe I need to get myself together and fix myself up. So again, it goes back to what you said of, maybe it's not us at all. Maybe it had to happen to us so that it could be a lesson for that person, because everybody ain't gonna forgive. Like you said, everybody ain't gonna provide that. I was that person who, for him, you can't get that for me. Like, I don't want to hear no apologies. I don't care, because you did what you did, and you just gonna have to stand on that. But maybe, like I said, sometimes we are people's assignments for things happening. It sucks, because God, why you had to use me in that way?
Right.
But,
Why I gotta be their assignment? Why I gotta be their test?
right. But it's like, I guess is it a badge of honor? I don't know. But
A test? Maybe it's also a test to
for me
me.
too, right? So, and then as you was talking, I feel like I kind of answered our question about should we like about the forgetting, and it came from the question about the process part. So, like you said, it could take a long time to go through that process. So maybe like God is like, all right, you went through your process and you did all the work. So once you said, and that goes back to what I said, you have to be intentional. Like part of the process is being intentional. So maybe like you go through your process, you be intentional about forgiving that person. That's when the point of, all right, you should be able to let it go and forget it. Not necessarily just like as soon as it happened or a month after it happened or a week that you just be like, all right, I forgive you. But once you go through that process of feeling the feels, figuring out, whatever, and you be intentional with saying, okay, I'm going to forgive this person, and you make the choice to forgive that person, then at that point, you should be able to forget it. But again, we're humans, we're fleshly. It's gonna be a battle, but I guess we just have to make the conscious choice and decisions to try. But
And I know it's not a part of our questions, but do we always have to verbally forgive somebody? Because I know there's been times where I forgave them with my heart. I just didn't tell them.
Yeah.
But I just let them be. But I forgave them in my head.
Yeah. I don't think it has to always be like you going to somebody and you saying, I forgive you. Like you literally saying, like, I just want you to know I forgive you for what you did. Because again, it goes back up and it goes to one of our questions. It kind of go, okay, we can go to the next question. Is it possible to forgive someone who hasn't apologized or shown remorse? So your question of like, can you like forgive someone without telling them? In some cases, you may have to, because like to this question, some people may not be remorseful or think they need to apologize for something that they did. But if your heart posture is right and you have the intentions of a real, like, all right, I'm gonna forgive them. They may not be apologetic, but you know what? For the sake of me and my inner peace, I forgive them.
Right.
I forgive them.
Yeah. Because like you said, some people are not going to apologize. They may not ever see fault in what they've done. And that's also another struggle, another battle that we have to face, because you want them to see how they treated you. You want them to understand how this may have hurt you.
Right.
But to them, they may not see it as such.
They see you as overreacting or making a big
or being
deal
dramatic or whatever the case may be. And then to you, that may look like them dismissing your feelings.
Right.
And maybe it's not them dismissing your feelings. Maybe it's like, again, they just don't understand how what they did may have hurt you, or they may just don't care.
Right.
So it is possible to forgive someone
even when they aren't sorry. And that's the hardest thing. I think that's even one of my biggest struggles, is like me forgiving somebody knowing that they could give two whatever's, try not to curse, about whether I forgive them or not, because they really standing on what they did. They don't see any wrong with what they did, or they wanted to hurt you and they don't care that it hurt you because it achieved what they set out to do, or like they didn't. And some people are really have those evil type spirits where they purposely like seek out to hurt people,
which is scary.
And they don't care. And you have to be okay with just saying, like, you know what? There's something you struggling with over there. And I ain't gonna let your shenanigans stress me out, make me feel some type of way. So, for the best for me and you, I'm gonna wipe my hands with it. And we got it, big dog. You got it, big dog. You won that. You got that. So it is possible to forgive someone. Is it easy? No. Nope. Not by any means at all.
Definitely agree. So I think this has been a really good conversation so far on forgiveness, where we talked about like how we personally define forgiveness, whether the forgiveness is more for the forgiver or the forgiven, what people misunderstand about it. Is it a choice, a process, or both? And also, is it possible to forgive someone who hasn't apologized or shown any type of remorse?
Right.
So, you want to continue this conversation, you got to catch us on part 2. But before we go, make sure you're commenting what you think about forgiveness. If you want to also answer the questions in the comments, feel free to do that as well. But also, while you're at it, make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow. What I'm missing? What else I'm missing?
Tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To follow your cousins at Couch Conversations. But until next time, bye.